Hi folks, P here. And a few days ago, I mentioned I was gonna do a video on the value of getting a housekeeper if you're gonna live here in the Philippines. So here it is. This isn't gonna be one of my studio videos that's packed with funny one-liners and gags, but it will be full of good information about something that can make your life a lot easier. So I'm just gonna sit here and tell you what I know. Now, many of you guys might consider a housekeeper a luxury you can't afford, because in the West, having a live-in maid is a sign of affluence. But not only is it very common here, it's more useful because she'll do a lot more than just clean up the house and wash your dirty socks. She'll be your cook, interpreter, do your shopping, stand in line to pay the bills, run errands, and even take care of any kids that might be in the picture, all for just a few hundred pesos a day. So where do you find a good one? And what are some of the things to watch out for? How much should you pay them? And can they actually save you money? Well, I'm about to tell you the whole story. If you're just one single guy, it might seem a little extravagant or unnecessary to have your own housekeeper. But in my opinion, finding a good one can be just as important as finding a quality girlfriend, and she'll probably make your life happier too. So, who are these women that want to be housekeepers? Some of them are widows. Most of them are single moms. Some of them are older women that can't find a job at the malls and shopping centers. Some women that don't have much education. Most of them are only high school graduates. I'm saying only high school graduates because most of the time to get a job at 7-Eleven, you have to have a degree, which is absurd to tell you the truth. But there are some women that aren't qualified for certain jobs. But before you start looking, you want to decide whether you'd rather have a 24/7 live-in maid or whether you just want to hire someone a few days a week. If she's a live-in, you have to factor in a little bit more for food, utilities, and her toiletries because you have to provide that for free. But it's not really much. The food she's allowed to eat is also up to you. But you know us guys, Filipinos just love our rice and vegetables and dried fish. Just tell her to cook the dried fish outside the house. So don't worry if you want a live-in housekeeper, but the woman you're considering is a single mom because chances are her parents will be raising the child while she's at work. You don't have to worry about a child running around in your apartment or a crying child clinging to his mom while she's scrubbing the floor. That's not going to be the case. All right, so let's talk about how to find one. Some of you guys might be thinking through an agency, but in my opinion, agencies aren't necessarily a better source, except that they do a police background check, but you have to pay a higher price for that, for extra fees. But you can do the same thing. It's only a few dollars. It's maybe $3 to $4 if you ask someone to do so. If you find a housekeeper from a friend of a friend or the cousin of your neighbor and stuff like that, you can ask them. So yeah, you can. Can you please provide an NBI clearance or a police clearance? They know where to get it. So if you want to pay for that, that's only like $3, so no biggie. And one way to find or locate a housekeeper is via Facebook ads. Everything here is in Facebook. Not only dating, or you can buy food, you can hire someone, anything, you name it. Just scroll down, go to your Facebook account, just like for instance, here in Dumaguete, all you have to do is type in housekeeper for hire or something like that. You'll find it. Or you can even join groups, the people that are looking for, jobs. But it would be nice to actually hire someone that you already know, like a friend of yours can vouch for her. So it's not really hard considering the unemployment rate here in the Philippines. So it's easy. So, after locating a possible housekeeper, you might want a month or two trial period. It's like a probationary, of course it's paid. Tell her that, because most of the time here, if they hear probationary, they might think it's for free. I know some of the employers do that here. You're not paid for 2 months just to check if you can work for us and stuff like that. I know it's very low ball, but tell her, hey, to test the chemistry between you and I. No, not the other chemistry, but as a working relationship. They can agree to a month or two trial period just to test the waters, see if you guys can work together, because 98% of the time, housekeepers will be on their best behavior for the first few weeks. So, what hours will a housekeeper usually work? Most of the time, it's 8 hours a day, and you can they can work in the morning 4 hours and in the afternoon 4 hours, or it depends on your time frame. If you're not a morning person like me, sometimes I wake up around 12 noon because I am up all night. You can arrange that with your housekeeper. You can tell her that she can start doing something like that. And yeah, it's basically 8 hours. And it would be nice to give her a little siesta in the afternoon before she prepares dinner. Siesta is like a little nap in the afternoon. And yeah, we got it from the Spaniards. Little siesta. All right, so let's talk about days off. Usually, you can give your housekeeper 1 day a week. As for the day, it's up to you guys. You can decide, but usually it's every Sunday because they want to go to visit their families or gonna, I don't know, attend a church if they're religious. And if you're very, very generous, you can give them 2 days off in a week. But the common thing is only 1 day a week, and that's being nice, because some employers don't give their housekeepers a day off, which is horrible. They need a me time sometimes, or hang out with friends, or just sleep, rest. So, what can a housekeeper do for you? Obviously, the normal house chores, cook 3 meals a day, but if you eat 5 times a day, she can do that as well. She can learn your favorite Western recipes, tell her during her spare time. She can watch YouTube or the Google University, the things that you like to eat, maybe pizza, pasta, burgers, and whatnot. And come to think of it, you'll save money just from not having to eat out, right? Because some of the food at the restaurant here, it ranges from $6 to $10, depending on what kind of restaurant. So you'll save up a lot of money if you're just eating at home. Plus, it's a home cooked meal. It's prepared with love and care. If you're that kind of guy that isn't gonna cook for himself every single meal, housekeeper will pay for herself in no time. Just do the math. And as per laundry, we do everything by hand, so you're not expected to provide a washer and a dryer. And I know it sounds horrible for you guys. You don't want to see someone doing everything by hand, but we're designed, our DNA is okay with it. We're like used to it, we're trained. And the same thing with cleaning the dishes. We don't even have dishwashing machines here. I don't suppose there is one that I know of that they have a dishwasher in their homes. No, it's not a thing. And cleaning the house, mopping, dusting, taking out the trash, changing your bed linens, scrubbing bathrooms, keeping the toilet paper refilled. They can also do yard work, even trimming your lawn with shears, the big scissors. We actually don't have lawn mowers, but if you don't have a yard, then that's no problem. She can also pay your bills, because sometimes we don't do that online because the company, the phone company, the water company, and the electric companies, they don't accept credit cards or bank transactions. Unlike in the bigger cities like Manila or Cebu or Davao, there are other options to do bank transactions for paying your bills. But most of the time, like most parts of the country, like a smaller city like Dumaguete, You have to go there physically and stand in line. My experience, I had to stand in line for 2 hours in the heat, and that was a lot of time wasted. So if you have a housekeeper, she can do that for you, and she can also do your errands, go to the mall or pick up a package, pick up a tool that you need. She can do your grocery shopping as well, and she'll save you money because she's a local, and you won't have to pay the foreigner price or the skin tax. Imagine sending her out to the local market. She can just pay the normal price because she's the local, and do the math. Every time she goes shopping, she'll save you money. Also, she can be your translator who deals with people that don't speak good English. And for instance, you have a delivery from Lazada or Shopee, and you get a phone call from a driver, and the driver starts, yeah, 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 and then you can't really understand what the call is all about. All you have to do is hand the phone to your housekeeper, and she can speak with the driver in her own local dialect, and that would be easier to give the driver the directions how to locate your house. And that's just one of the other, million reasons to have a housekeeper that can translate for you. For the guys out there that live here, you know what I mean. So basically, she does everything you'd have to do if she wasn't there. Now, the best housekeepers are like the best employees. You don't have to direct them all the time and tell them everything they need to do. Well, some will just sit there until you say, please empty the trash and pick up the stuff. And if you have to follow them around to keep them busy, you may as well just do it yourself. So what I suggest is make a list of duties, put it on the fridge, and let her check them off as she does them, and explain how you want things done. There will be some cultural differences, and she may do things that aren't acceptable to you, like leaving food in the frying pan on the stove overnight without putting the leftovers in the fridge. That's a bad habit of Filipinos. I've seen that many times. I know, I'm not proud of it. I mean, you might have to insist that she put all the food away, okay? That's just one example. And also, after her day off, she should come back at a certain time. No Filipino time allowed, because there are times that some housekeepers, they come back late the next day. Let's say they're off on Sunday, and then on Monday she should be back around 9. And sometimes, oh, something happened, the Filipino time thingy. So tell her that it's not acceptable for you. That's not how you operate. And also, there are some instances that their family members will stop by to say hi or whatnot. So tell her that no unannounced visit from her family at work, stuff like that. So explain what you expect and stick to it. And for all that, how much do you have to pay? The normal wage, depending on the city you're located in, is between 5,000 and 8,000 pesos per month for her starting salary. And that translates to 200 to 300 pesos a day. Now that's cheap. How about raises? It's up to you how often. Maybe every 3 to 6 months or yearly. Some employers will give 500 pesos per month a raise after 6 months, depending on how, the performance. If she's a hardworking housekeeper, then yeah, it's really up to you. It's just an example, 500 pesos. We also have what we call the 13th month pay. It's equivalent to 1 month's pay, and it's usually given at the end of the year. And by the way, guys, that's mandatory. It's like a Christmas bonus. And some employers who are very generous, they give a Christmas bonus on top of their 13th month pay. But other than that, the only expenses you'll have to cover are their benefits, like Social Security, our PhilHealth, and something called Pag-ibig, which is a mutual fund. But the good news is, unlike in the West, all these benefits will only cost you a maximum of 800 pesos a month. So in total, having a housekeeper will cost you 6,000 to 9,000 pesos per month, even in a big city like Manila. So that's the usual expenses. Well, that's only what, $4 to $6 per day. That's a pretty good deal. Okay, this is probably sounding too good to be true, but what do you have to look out for? Well, first, obviously, theft. You have to lock up your or hide your money, your valuables, your passport, especially, at least initially. That's because, things can be great at first, and then you come home one day and only to find out she's missing along with your stuff. And stolen money is gone for sure. And good luck trying to get it back because you won't. Another thing to watch out for is advancing her money all the time. Now, there's nothing wrong with giving her an advance on her pay once in a while, but some housekeepers will always have a crisis or emergencies, and before you know it, she owes you a lot of labor. If it becomes too much of a debt, she might just leave instead of paying it off. It's like loaning a Filipino, they're just gonna disappear. Same thing is true for giving her too much pay in the first place. I know a lot of you guys are really generous, and you might think that 5,000 pesos is too low. It's $100 a month, and you want to start her out at 10,000 pesos a month. But here's where your kindness can backfire on you. After a few months, your housekeeper might have much more money in her pocket than she expected and actually feel like she's rich. She might wake up one morning on her day off, realize she's got enough savings to last her a month or two, and decide just not to come back to work. I know it sounds ridiculous and it's crazy, but some people just think that way. And I know someone personally that just left the work because she thought, oh, okay, I have enough money. But that's really a dumb thing to do. You also might be tempted to give her a bunch of raises once she's proven herself to be a good worker. But you want to space the raises out to leave room for more in the future. Because I know, guys, it's nice to pay someone what you think they're worth. But then when you stop giving raises, it takes away their incentive to try harder. You know what I mean? But on the flip side, a lot of housekeepers are mistreated. Some are asked to work ridiculous hours. Like, I had a friend one time, she had to start working from 8 a.m. till 12 midnight, serving 10 people in one household. She's always like juggling. She has to work on the kids, she has to scrub the floors at the same time, and it's crazy. And some employers will not give a day off to their housekeepers. Some employers have these draconian rules, like they're not allowing their housekeepers to use their phone until they go to bed at night, which is, I would understand, but not to the point that they're kind of like, "Hup, you can't use their phone," and stuff like that. That's just one example. Some housekeepers will receive verbal abuse, and yes, physical abuse as well, not only with overseas Filipino workers in the Middle East. I know there's a lot of horror stories. They get bitten, they get everything. Even here, it happens all the time with upper class Filipinos. Some wealthy Filipino families are the meanest. I don't know why, I'm even perplexed that a person can be that horrible to another person. So needless to say, don't use your economic advantage to take advantage of your housekeeper. I know you guys won't, but I just had to say it anyway. And a lot of you guys might be thinking, I know, you're thinking right now, why not combine a girlfriend with a maid? Why not find a good housekeeper that I want to date too? Well, that sounds a lot like, why don't I find a good woman to date and turn her into a housekeeper, which doesn't sound nearly as noble. But you don't really want to make your girlfriend stand in a line for an hour every month to pay the bill, do you? If the answer is yes, please do not send me a marriage proposal, okay? Like it's an automatic X, because I hate standing in line. I know you're thinking, guys, so don't do it. That's not really, it's best to keep them separate, okay? You'll avoid a lot of bad situations that way. So don't even go there, even if she's a willing participant, okay? Because a really good housekeeper is more than just an employee. She can become a part of your family, and sometimes for many years to come. She can become an integral part of your household, okay? And if you ever run into a situation where your girlfriend and your housekeeper just can't get along, well, you really have to think long and hard before you decide which one has to go, okay? Because that's gonna be a tough decision, especially if they're both good. They're just like, wow, you don't want a cat fight in your house. All right, so I guess that's about it, guys. That's it for today, and I'll be back on Tuesday with something totally different, guaranteed. Till then, folks. Voulez-vous coucher avec moi ce soir? If you think about it, I'm kind of like your maid, helping you clean up the mess from past relationships and wiping away those doubts about dating here in the Philippines. The only thing I ask in return is that you leave a thumbs up on this video and subscribe to my channel. If you do, you will have made my day. And while I'm working, please enjoy some of my other videos too. See you real soon.